For the next few weeks, I'm going to be teaching all about 5 senses. Let me show you how I integrate it into my classroom. I introduce the 5 senses by creating Mr. Potato Head. He's made out of felt, and I build him as we talk about our eyes are for seeing, our ears are for hearing, our nose is for smelling, our mouth is for tasting, our hands are for touching. We're going to read My 5 Senses book, and then these other ones we'll read throughout the next few weeks. I also have these ones. I'm busy highlighting them because I do love them, but a little bit too long for preschoolers, so I'll highlight the words that I want to read. So when I'm introducing the 5 senses, I like having pictures so that they can see. I touch with my skin, I see with my eyes, I taste with my tongue, I hear with my ears, I smell with my nose. And here's a lesson we're going to do on describing. So I'll pick a couple of these and we're going to describe mud. It looks brown and gooey. It feels wet and squishy. It tastes yuck, don't eat it. They might not use those words, but I'm going to encourage them to describe how they would look, feel, taste, smell, and sound. For our sense of smell lesson, I'm going to fill these jars with kitchen items. We have pickles, ketchup, all of these things. So we'll get in a circle and we're going to pass it around and smell and try to guess what was inside. For our sense of touch lesson, we're going to go outside and take off our shoes, and students are going to step from one bin to the next, describing how each one feels. At the end, we end with a bucket of water and a towel for them to clean off their feet. We're also learning the letter C this week. So for our large group lesson, we are going to write the letter C in shaving cream. So that's another one of our touch lessons. For our sense of hearing, I have a YouTube video that I play where it has a curtain that makes a sound. They have to guess what it is, and then the curtain opens and they can see what it was. We'll also go on a listening walk. So I do this as part of another lesson just before recess. We're going to walk all the way around the playground, and we're going to be so quiet. We're going to really focus on the things that we hear outside. And then for our sense of taste lesson, everybody has a plate at the table before snack time. It's going to have something salty, sweet, bitter, and sour. So they'll have a little piece of a lemon, they'll have cocoa powder, a piece of chocolate, and a pretzel. And one at a time, we're going to pick it up and we're going to try it. So as we're talking about it, they can know this is sour, this is salty, this is bitter. It's funny because cocoa smells so good, but doesn't taste so great. At the art table this week with my assistant, she's going to be finger painting with them, putting 2 colors that mix together, and they're just going to go to town having fun finger painting. And before they're done, they're going to write their first letter of their name so that it dries in the finger paint. And then the following week, when we're still working on 5 senses, she's going to make flubber with them, and they can take that home. So that's like a really fun slime. I staple the recipe to the bag so that the parents can make it at home as well if they'd like. Our centers, we have our sense of touch bin at our science center. So these items are inside the box and they're just using their sense of touch to decide which one it is. These ones are using their sense of sight and their sense of hearing. At the messy table, we're using our sense of smell. These are unroasted coffee beans that we got donated to us, and they smell amazing. We are also using our sense of smell at the writing center. All of these utensils are smelly markers and crayons. And then the same thing at our PlayDoh center. I took red, yellow, and blue PlayDoh, mixed it together, and added cocoa powder. And it makes a nice brown, and it smells delicious. So they're making chocolate cupcakes here. And finally, when we're all done with our 5 senses unit, I have a popcorn maker. I have everybody in a big circle. And then we're going to use all 5 senses. So I'm going to pour in the oil and the popcorn, and we're going to wait. And the first thing that we notice is there's steam coming out. So we're using our sense of sight. And then pretty soon we can start to smell it. And then the best part is when we start hearing it pop, 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 pop. First, before we pop the popcorn, I send around a little kernel and say, how does that feel? Oh, look, it's so tiny and it's hard. And then that popcorn turns into crunchy and fluffy. So they're going to feel it afterwards. And then the best part, we get to taste it. So we used all 5 of our senses when we're making popcorn.